Yeah, thanks for joining, everybody. If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat section, the public chat section. If you just want to put down, where you're from, what branch you served in, feel free to add that to the chat section, and we'll get going here in a few minutes.
We also want this meeting to be very interactive. So any question you have at any given time in the presentation, you can drop the question, and we will come back to answer the question. In the meantime, please just drop a comment, say something about where you're from, which branch of the military you've served, so that we can get some interaction going. Okay, let's write something. Maybe it's going to motivate someone. So we're going to wait another minute to let everybody join.
Thanks, Eric from Colorado, and Mariana from Edinburgh, Texas. Hey, that's the United States Marine Corps, 2001, 2005. Hey, thanks. I'm down in Houston, a little bit south of Houston. So great to see someone else from the great state of Texas join us. And
Cool. I'm based in Maryland, so Rockville, Maryland.
Jason is aloha. I'm currently in LA. Recently retired from the Air Force with 24 years. Hey, congrats,
Wow.
Jason. Hope you're enjoying your retirement.
So we're going to have a great presentation for you guys today. Please keep on sharing, asking questions, and interacting with us.
And it's now 10 o'clock, so we're gonna get going. My name is Carl. I'm the account manager for Face Magnet. I'm also a U.S. Army veteran and a veteran of Afghanistan. And if anyone's a veteran from Afghanistan, we know that right now is a very difficult time. So we definitely encourage you if you're having any issues or just want to talk to somebody, definitely reach out to us or reach out to me, and I'd be happy to talk with you about what's going on and what's happening around the world. That's not the focus of our webinar today, but we at least want to acknowledge acknowledge what's going on and then how it's affecting our veterans. But I'd like to introduce Gerard. He's the CEO of Face Magnet, and he's going to talk a little bit about his journey and the program. And so I'll turn it over to Gerard.
Hey everyone, my name is Gerard Ngeji, and actually started the program by accident. In 2015, I had PTSD after I went through a traumatic experience at work when I was working in technology, and that essentially it was a giant thing that I don't even want to get into the details. But my apartment got invaded, and I ended up getting a lot of stress and anxiety, and that's how I started researching on PTSD and realized that all of the challenges that I was going through, veterans are also facing the same challenges. Because this event that happened to me essentially forced me to change my career and find my path. Because I come from my father was a military man, but he wanted me to be a priest. And so it's when I had this traumatic experience that the conflict that I had in my mind between being a priest or a soldier, because I actually spent a few years at the seminary. that I realized that the tools that I was creating were helping me so well because they were anchored in a religious kind of framework, and that's how it evolved. And I started creating all of the additional tools based on a language, a visual language that the technology people use called UML that helps describe the way computer systems are designed. And so that visual language is what was helping me so well. And then I realized that this will also help veterans, and that's how the whole program was created. But today we're going to play the game at any given time. I think Carl wanted to also introduce himself and his background, but we haven't gone through that yet. But before we start playing the game at any given time, I would have to present a tiny presentation that explains a key term called self-actualization. And then when we get out of that little presentation, we'll be playing the game, and then we'll see how all of these things are tying together.
All right, thanks, Gerard. So yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself again and tell you a little bit about my story and how I went through multiple transitions. So the point of our program is the transition assistance program, a mental transition assistance program, or mental TAP. And so when I was very young, I knew from childhood that I wanted to join the military. I was 4 or 5 years old, and instead of watching cartoons, I was watching World War II movies with my father. And so the uh, my dad served in the military, my brother served in the military. We had several other family members that served. So I pretty much knew right away that that's what I was going to do. And yeah, and so when I turned 17, I joined the army, and I went to basic training between my junior and senior year of high school. And I returned back for my senior year of high school. I was 135 pounds, about 5'8" at the end of my junior year. And then when I came back, I was 6 foot tall and 175 pounds. So I was a completely different person just in the few months from basic training. And so I finished out my senior year and went back to training for infantry school, and I graduated from infantry school, and then ended up deploying to Hurricane Katrina, which had hit the Gulf Coast, and specifically New Orleans. And so I went there for a while to conduct security operations. And my after that, I returned home and started doing my reservist time and going to school. And then in 2008 and 2009, I deployed to Afghanistan, and in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. I was stationed in the Kunar province, and ended up returning home in 2009, where I got out of the military and was planning my own transition. So I thought I prepared myself well enough. I had signed up for school. I'd already gotten enrolled in the VA system to start getting treatment for PTSD and for other injuries. And so after it wasn't until about 9 months later that I really started having a lot of issues come to the surface. I thought I prepared myself very well for this transition, and come to find out that we see this with a lot of veterans, that right when they get home, they know that problems are happening or exist, but they either cover it up, or it doesn't come to the surface right away. And so definitely about 9 months after I returned home, I had I had a lot of issues, and had to go to the VA and go through a lot of therapy just to get over those issues. So I ended up going to school and getting my bachelor's degree, and this is where my second transition comes in. And so right after I graduated, I took some time to start helping with some veteran nonprofit organizations, and ended up my brother-in-law, who was career military in the army. He became a casualty from Iraq, and so he ended up passing away from his wounds on Mother's Day. And then 3 months after his passing, my dad ended up passing from cancer. And so my whole life came crashing down around me, and it was a worse transition than even dealing with the PTSD and the other injuries. And so that's when I started moving into the veteran advocacy groups and the veteran service organizations, and found the transition assistance program. And I felt that if I would have had that program back when I got out in 2009, it would have made my first transition much easier, and then it would have been a lot easier to deal with the two tragedies that really happened back to back and very close in time. And it was very difficult to deal with. I didn't know what I was going to do or where I was going to end up, but thankfully we have programs like Mental Tap and other veteran programs outside of the VA to be able to help help our veterans, and especially myself. So also, I continued going to the VA for my uh, for my treatment, but also was building up my network, of veterans in the service, and also, attending our mental tap program to be able to, uh, explain my story, explain how I went through these transitions and these difficult times, and how what I'm doing today is to help veterans in any way that I can. And I'm also part of volunteer organizations for veterans. So I'm part of the American Legion, and I'm also a commander for a VFW post. And so very very involved, and this has been my new purpose in life, is to help our veterans and their families, and a lot of that is thanks to our transition assistance program that we offer. So
So,
so yeah, now I'll turn it back over to Gerard, and he's going to just, or actually, first we want to discuss what we're going to talk about in the webinar before I turn it over to Gerard. So we're gonna, as he mentioned, you're gonna play a little game with him,
mhm.
and then we're gonna go beyond what we offer in the program, and talk about some tips about how you can improve yourself, or move on with your career, and some tips for interview processes, and finding a career or a job where you can achieve your full potential. And then lastly, we'll discuss what kind of candidates qualify and are selected for our program. And then we can also, at any time throughout the presentation, feel free to put any questions or comments in the chat box. I'll be monitoring that, and then we can follow up with you either by answering it live, or we'll respond to your chat either publicly or privately. And then we can also reach out to you after the webinar is over if there's something more private you want to discuss. So now I'll hand it back over to Gerard, and he's going to take it. He's going to take it from there.
All right. All right. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, everyone. Unfortunately, I cannot see everyone now that I'm sharing, I'm presenting, but you guys can all see the screen. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. So in this webinar, we will show you how to reach your full potential, stop inner mind struggles like PTSD, find your purpose, your path, your vocation, master your military mindset so you can actually leverage your energy, and all of this with a scientific approach. And without having to attend therapy or take drugs, navigate a confusing VA system, feel helpless or disconnected or lost, leave the comfort of your home, or wait to see noticeable results. Now, the concept that I wanted to quickly share with you before we jump in is essentially what's at the core of our program. It's the commonality between all human sciences like psychology, philosophical doctrines like Stoicism, all religion, and all doctrines that have been around for thousands of years are focusing on one core thing, and that one core thing is called self-actualization, which is the process by which all human beings achieve their full potential. And it comes down also to mindset mastery because self-actualization itself is a concept that is fairly broad. Now, yoga explain these universal truths in a way that people understand the best, which is mind, body, and soul. We live in three dimensions: mind, body, and soul, and we have to learn how to unite these dimensions through our everyday life experiences, right? And so when we are not in alignment, mind, body, and soul, this is what our mind is going to look like. And yoga is a mirror to look at ourselves from within, but psychology also explains the concept of self-analysis through Dr. Karen Horney here, saying that we as human beings, we actually have the ability to reach to do an analysis of our own mindset and figure out the pieces that might be out of alignment, right? And so that's where we refer to as the worst version of ourselves, which is the version of ourselves that has mind, body, and soul, the least in alignment. And at this stage, we are very angry. We are prone to error. Our emotions are almost impossible to manage to us, and we keep on making mistakes out of anger, right? And when we move on to stage two, where we are still a bad version of ourselves, we have more access to our own abilities and our own talents and our own potential, but we are still limited. And it's only when we are the best version of ourselves that we have a clear vision, a clear purpose, and we know our gifts and our talents. We know how all areas of our lives are working together and keeping us whole, and we can set a vision for our life that actually align with our gifts and our talent. And that's the concept we call the perfect mental configuration, which is essentially the purpose of this program, helping helping achieve this state of wholeness where we feel confident, we feel whole, we have a purpose, we are happy and successful and fulfilled, or at least we know the things that we can go out and do, and we will be successful. So, and all of this is done in a scientific way because we use a bunch of other tools, but we will be describing all of that in just a moment. So this is the little presentation that I wanted to make before we start diving into the game here. At any given time is actually a game that help us master our mindset and focus our mind and help us identify any given time in life where we are actually uh, uh, um, we need to reconsider what we're doing, and it gives us a framework, right? Now, at any given time in life, we are going to be in the present. We consider that the past doesn't exist or the future doesn't exist, right? We have other tools that are also called at any given time for that. But this one is focusing only on the present, right? And at any given time, we are in the present. And according to psychology great Dr. Sigmund Freud, right? Sigmund Freud is a specialist when it comes to helping people get better. And Abraham Maslow, who's also a great psychologist, is more specialized in helping people stay better, right? So Sigmund Freud here is focusing on the things that make us sick, right? But this whole presentation is more holistic. Now, Sigmund Freud has this principle called the pleasure principle. Don't judge quickly. But the pleasure principle is essentially saying that every time in life when we are we are going to try to have pleasure. We are going to go towards pleasure every single time. We are going to avoid pain. Now, when you pay a little more attention, you realize that pleasure, in fact, is fake, and love, right? And then pain, on the other end, is fear. Fear and hate. But at the same time, it goes further because here we essentially just have fearlessness because no one wants to be afraid ever unless it's for entertainment. Now, when we are facing these two dichotomies at any given time in life, we are also facing another dichotomy between good and bad. But when the whole diagram is developed, we are going to get to the bottom of what's really pertinent here. But here we are going to be, we're going to try to be good, and we are going to try to avoid bad things. We're going to want to be positive and avoid negative. We are going to respect the truth and not like lies, right? This is systematic for every human being at any given time. We find ourselves in this in these two parallel. It is in fact just one, because pain is bad and good is safe, but we differentiate them because they involve two aspects of life. Because this is more in our mind and this is more in our behavior, right? But the reality is that at any given time in life, when we are going to be fearless and do something out of faith and love and something that gives us pleasure, and at the same time is something that's good, positive, and true, we are going to be sincere and creative. Every human being can achieve creativity just by focusing on that. Now, at any given time in life, when we are trying to do something bad out of fear, we are trying to do something out of fear that's also bad, we are going to end up being hypocrites. Hypocrisy and, let's say, evil. Now, at any given time in life, when we are going to do something out of fear, and at the same time it's something good, but we are afraid that we can't do it, we don't have the ability to achieve our dreams, but at the same time these dreams are positive, good, and true, and we actually see that we have a purpose in it, but our pain, our fears, or our hate keep us from making moves. That means we have limiting beliefs or ignorance, right? Now, at any given time in life, when we want to do something that's fearless, based on faith and good and positive, but at the same time, it's based on a lie and it's bad and it's negative, we are going to have bad faith and a big ego, right? So these are the four sort of broader categories that we can find ourselves in our mind, body, and soul. But the thing that's pertinent with this presentation here is that self-actualization, which is the process by which human beings achieve full potential, find their purpose, their path, their talents, and now figure out a way to actually go out there and do something that gives them fulfillment and love and passion and all these things. It only happens here. Everywhere else, we're making mistakes. And so that's the idea of uh, um, being able to scan our mindset and our behavior in a way that help us identify the situations in life where we are not being sincere, we are not being fearless, operating out of fake pleasure, the things that give us pleasure, and the things that are good, positive, and true. That's the only place where self-actualization happens. Do you guys have any comment? Thank you, Vic. Thank you, Ruben.
Yeah, they said it's really great stuff. So I don't think there's any comments or questions right now, so
Okay.
we can keep on going.
All right. So now the reason why this is also pertinent for our next topic, which is essentially how to get good jobs and get hired by these big companies, is because it works the same. It was exactly the same for everything, and it's just a matter of understanding that every single time in life, when we want to do something good, positive, and true, and we're afraid we can't do it, is essentially because we have limiting beliefs. And every time in life, when we're going through, we have these fears against ourselves or against others, and we have bad thought, it's just going to push us towards hypocrisy, and we don't grow as hypocrites, and just like we don't grow when we have limiting beliefs, right? And every time we want to do something that's based on love, faith, and we have pleasure doing it, but at the same time it's bad and based on a lie, we will have bad faith and we'll have a behavior that go against our best interest when it comes to us finding our purpose, finding our passions, finding our path, and everything else actually, because when we start engaging in activities that are fearless and good, that's how we are pushing our limits. We become creative and we get a lot of pleasure from it, and that's also how our talents come out, and we give us a new purpose, and that energy that's pushing us forward towards a new vision. Like Carl was saying earlier, that he found a new passion in assisting and helping other veterans. Just that is an energy that is hyper powerful. When you have something like that in the mind, and you want to do something based on that, is going to give a lot of power, and that's something that may not be visible immediately. So the next topic that we have is about the how to get these big jobs in these giant companies. Because I worked for, I said it earlier, I think the Federal Reserve, HBO, Lockheed Martin, American Express, a bunch of companies also in the private sector, in the public sector with government, federal government agencies like the GSA. And so I have a lot of experience getting tough jobs in very competitive environments. And so what I wanted to share, because people are continuously ask how I managed to find this job, so I figured that we can make this part of this presentation so that we can essentially cover some of the key points that I came up with, and I broke them down into categories. The things that people think are super important that are actually not that super important, and the things that are actually super important, in my opinion. So I'm going to start sharing again. And the first thing, how to get hired by major companies, the lesser important things that we tend to overestimate are immediate qualifications for the job. There are a lot of companies that will hire someone, that would want to hire someone that they want to train. So they are looking for someone who is a higher version of themselves, someone who is on a mission, someone who know their why, has a passion for the way they describe their responsibilities, but they don't necessarily going to put too much weight into how many years you've done something that align with that specific job, as long as you have a drive for it. Now, level of education. that's also a giant misconception. Sometimes you get turned down for jobs because you have a graduate degree, and so it's as long as we have some education, a college education, and a certification, it doesn't really weigh as much as we can think. Now, for more senior position, it's going to be more required, but for the majority of cases, it's going to be something that and many people, I don't want to say most because I don't have any data on it, but I think I saw a lot of data saying that people go to school, people work in industries where they didn't study in school, and that's essentially what is also happening to me right now. So the number of years of experience, I already mentioned that earlier. The number of years of experience can also be an impediment. So I don't think anyone should be worried too much about the number of years of experience they have, as long as the resume is cohesive and the way the your experience is described line by line in a resume doesn't look like someone else wrote it. It looks like you wrote it with your own language, your own terms, your own explanation of how you went through these experiences and why they align with the job that's at hand. But the number of years of experience in that industry or in that job is a factor that is not as important if you're not trying to get an executive or a VP kind of role immediately. Now, relying on our connections in that company, that's also something that never happened to me. It's very rare that you find someone in a company and then get hired because they're there. It's just something that is also a waste of time because you're not even sure if that environment may work for you and things like that. Now, military ranks versus civilian job titles. Military ranks are crucial in the military, but in the civilian world, when you go to a job interview and the first words out of your mouth are essentially military only or a language that someone who hasn't been in the military is going to be intimidated by. And so that's essentially the difference here. The idea that when approaching a job in the civilian world, it's better to just focus on the things that you may have done in the military that align with that job, and let the interviewer ask you maybe questions about ranks and things like that, and then enter that conversation. But it doesn't really align immediately, and it's not necessarily something that is going to weigh a lot when the decision of hiring you is going to be made. They're more focused on what you can do on the job more than what you were capable of doing in the military, because the military is completely different. Also, it requires a level of involvement, a level of discipline, a level of commitment that is just above and beyond anything in the civilian world. So you also have to be aware that you have an energy that can be intimidating for civilians, especially at a job interview when you're hyped up and you're prepared and things like that. It's a tricky thing to even notice, but our energy is visible to other people, and they may not be used to someone who's got a high energy. Now, and who's positive? Because most of the time in the civilian world, when someone has a high energy, it's because they're trying to fight or do something. Now, the most important things that I believe are crucial to get hired by these big companies, you have to be humble, but at the same time fearless, and a mindset of fearlessness and growth. Meaning, they want to see that you're looking for a challenge. They want to see that you're looking to grow. They want to see that you're looking to learn and give yourself experiences And now, if they are able to see in your past or see your background and align it with the job, that's it. It's not even necessarily because a lot of these big companies, they want also someone that they can train and they keep around. And so if they see someone coming into the organization with a clear vision, a clear passion, a fearless mindset, and humility, they are going to wanna to bring you on board if they think you'll be the right fit for the environment, and you get along with the other people in the company. So we also it's also crucial to be able to pass a background check or security clearance, which everyone will agree and know why, because you don't even get you can get to the interview without passing a background check. But if there are things that are bothering you, you're not even going to be comfortable at the interview. And so it's better just to stay out of trouble and stay out of situations where your background or your reputation can be tarnished. Now, another of the most important things is to have keywords that are relevant to your industry in your resume and post it online so that people can actually find you. And when they find the keyword, when they find the resume, inside of the resume, they have to see something personal, something that doesn't look it was written by a professional resume writer. So even if you have your resume written, but you get help for the resume, it's better to go back in and even if the language on the resume starts sounding like it's less good than what the professional resume writer done, it's going to make your resume more humane, and they don't read even a lot of these resumes because the algorithm are picking resume based on the keywords. Sometimes they have headhunters that are doing that for them, and then the headhunters are calling you. So it's just a game where people know that a lot of things on a resume are not true. So when the professional resume writer write things that are written on a bunch of other resumes, it doesn't sound natural. So it's important then to go back in and figure out ways to rephrase certain things, your own, not everything, but some of the key things, the accomplishment, the things that are tying to what you love the most about the job, and that's actually what's going to get someone to say this person is different than the other resume that I've been getting, because I can tell that they wrote this, and I can tell they own individual touch on the resume. Now we also have to study the job description, and because it's going to all be in the job description. Now, these big companies sometimes have standardized job description whereby every time they need a project manager, they just take a job description for project managers, they drop it there, and then they wait and see who's going to respond. And that's something that you need to be able to see also. If maybe you go on their website and you see that they've already posted this job before, that means they're just repeating. They may not have the identical need. They're just repeating it. So then it's easy. You can just read through, capture all of the keywords, and make sure that all of the things that they're asking that are important, you actually write down a sentence that explain how you've done it. Don't so that you can actually go to the interview, and when any of these points are going to come up, your mind is already going to be prepared because you have anticipated a question like that. So you want to be also anticipating questions based on the things that they asking. So studying the job description is one of the most important things, and aligning with similar experiences you've had in the past, because they are going to tell you everything they need. And if any of these things you've done in the past, you can just remember that prior to the interview and write it down. And then at the time you go to the interview, everything is just going to flow. Now, you also want to study the company and research the ratings given by current employees who work there. And a good website is Glassdoor. And another reason why this is important is because it's also going to allow you to demystify the company a little bit. Because if you go to an interview and you think, oh, this is this giant company that I've been dreaming working for and doing all these cool things that they do, at the moment you put yourself in the mindset like that, you're going to be intimidated and you're not going to be able to communicate clearly because you're going to be afraid in a way. And so studying the company, looking at the ratings, looking at the other what other employees are saying about the company is going to allow you to just sort of realize that it's just another company, and you want to go to the interview just for the experience and see what you learn. And if you get hired, great. So going to the interview, knowing a lot about the company and about the job description is a giant relief that makes you comfortable at the interview, and you don't even need to prepare a lot because you already feel that you're familiar with that environment. Now, being on time and wear professional attire crucial because people want to see the way you are, they want to see the way you behave, they want to see your energy, they want to see they want to anticipate how you will fit with all of the other team members. That's why it's important when we go to an interview to always realize that the job that we get interviewed for is just one tiny thing. There are a bunch of other things that we are going to impact when we join that organization. So it's important to present well, to wear professional attire, and to be able to. I think that's the next point here, to be able to describe our background and our experience with cohesion, meaning we have to be able to explain ourselves and tell a story about our passions and how they drove our career where it is. So when you have like questions about our past and about our background, we tend to talk more about our qualifications that we acquire in the past, as opposed to talk about the stories and the things that we've been through and the things that we've done at work, of course, and the accomplishment that we've made and how it made us feel. You have to be able to say, I was so happy because the software was delivered on time. When we started the project, we didn't even have an environment to build it. And so telling stories like that gives someone an idea of the abilities that you can provide, as opposed to explaining, maybe giving numbers, like, oh, I was able to save this much money, and just stick to that. There has to be a story around everything, and our description of our background has to be extremely cohesive because they're going to research online also. So if you have a good story like that, it becomes automatically more powerful for you to go to any interview without necessarily having to worry too much about what you're going to have to say, as long as the job align with your is on your path. You can just go at any interview and ace every single one of them if you can explain these things and people can actually see what you've been through and the things that you can do, and you're getting hired based on your why, based on your energy. And one of the other most important things is having a professional certification or specific training, because that's also become a keyword that headhunters and companies put in search engines. So having these two things can supplement a college degree, and it's extremely powerful and it really makes the difference. We also have to respect our own value, right? Share beliefs and best practices that we've learned in other companies, even if it wasn't big companies. Just explaining what you have accomplished and the challenges that we went through, and how it makes you feel it made you feel to accomplish these things, and how it helped you grow. right? So they want someone who is growing, and we also have to be direct and confident talking about past failures and lessons that we have learned, because everyone is going to be making mistakes at one point, and it's important to be able to own up to them, because that's when they also see that there was no growth behind the things that happen, and that's how they can easily say or tell that someone is not a higher version of themselves. So important to describe what we can accomplish based on our ability to work with others. That's another key thing. I think we scratched on the surface of this one earlier, but the idea is that when we join an organization, especially these big organizations, it's also an environment where we are going to work with a lot of people, and describing our abilities while even sometimes praising other people that helped us in different projects or in different ways, but describing our abilities with our based on our ability to work with others is always something that is going to be beneficial. Of course, every once in a while, it's important to say I and list the things that you've done as yourself, but the way to do that to me is by also sharing how your environment or certain circumstances have helped you, right? Now, the most one of the most important one being the best version of you, because that's essentially the name of our mental tap program, because all of these points that we just described, that's essentially what we all operate off of when we are the best version of ourselves, because it's our talents that are driving us, it's our passions, it's our purpose. And at the moment you find your energy like that, and you can actually maintain that for a certain period of time, it's going to be visible on your resume, and that's how also you end up um, um, always finding yourself in position where you have opportunities, because you're already on your life path. Like the fearless and good, it put you on your life path, doing something that you consider fearless and good, and that you have energy for, you have a need, a belief in, and that's essentially how we operate when we are a higher version of ourselves. Our mental tab is essentially a bunch of visual tools, as I was explaining earlier. We create a visual learning. We use visual learning based on UML. It's not based on UML, but it's the same logic the universal modeling language, which is that visual language that they use in technology. And so we have dozens and dozens of other tools. This table, for instance, is Maya Break. That's how we essentially help veterans identify their talents, in the sense that it's a free online test. You can go online and take it, but when you have your four-letter code, we can tell you how to use it, how to research it, and how what are the things that you're already wired for by design, and how it all align with all of the things in the program. Here we have a testimonial for Grayson. Grayson say, I have been on my journey for transformation for over 5 years now, and my belief in a changed life that I was yet to see has attracted me to Faith Magnet. These concepts make simple sense. Over the years, I have learned that to make any change or life transition, I needed to first change my thinking. From what I've seen, most people, as I once were, do not understand what drives them, the passion for doing something that gives them pleasure, why they do things they do, or how to direct this energy. If you are reading this, it means you are in the right place at the right time, and the energy of faith in your changed life has drawn you here. This program will spark deeper thinking and awareness for who you are, what drives you, and how you can achieve your dreams with efficiency. Give faith a chance. This is a powerful testimonial, and I love sharing it. But the idea of the program is in three major phases. The first phase is energy, which covers module one and module two. It lasts 4 weeks. The second phase is purpose. Oh, by the way, energy is focusing on the subconscious mind, mental attention, and the way we process our fears. This is the way we process our faith, which we just saw a moment ago with a part of which we just saw a moment ago with at any given time. It's got two modules in this phase. Oops. And phase two is 6 weeks long. It covers module three, four, and five, and it focuses on our life areas of life, gifts and talents. That's actually when we start getting into the personality type and Myers-Briggs portions. And the last piece is awareness, vision. Sorry, it lasts 4 weeks, and what we cover during that portion is just awareness, meta motivation, meta inspiration, and it's essentially the same logic than the universal truth that we described earlier with mind, body, and soul in perfect alignment because our energy comes from our soul, our purpose comes from the mind, and our vision is essentially our body. And they all have to be in alignment mind, body, and soul, energy, purpose, and vision, emotion, thought, and behavior. And that's essentially how we achieve meta motivation, meta inspiration, and that alignment that we call the perfect mental configuration is essentially what self-actualization comes down to, and this is the only position that we have to have in our minds to achieve our full potential. Every human being in the history of mankind that has achieved great things had this in their mind. They knew what their energy was, they knew what their emotion, their needs were, they had a purpose, and they had thought and the frequency that aligned with their energy, and then their vision was just a matter of deciding how they want to do it and for how long and things like that. So it's scientific, it's been taught for thousands of years, and it's what we call the perfect mental configuration, but it's essentially having our mind, body, and soul in perfect alignment, and that's how we achieve being the best version of ourselves, which is the title of our online course again, and of Mental Tap, and it also comes with workshops. So it's a combination between an online portion and then weekly or monthly workshops to go over all of the exercises, answer the questions, play games like the one we just played. And so this is essentially what it comes down to.
Hey, thanks, Gerard.
So
So we actually had
excellent.
one question. Two people asked the same question. So they wanted to
Mm,
know if the slides, if we were going to be able to share those slides with everyone. I provided your email address in the chat
sure.
section, and we'll be able to send you more material, and we'll be able to answer that question for you about sharing our slides from the presentation. We also are recording the webinar as well, and so we're going to be posting that on our Facebook page at a later time, and so you'll be able to rewatch it, and in case you had any technical difficulties or if you jumped in late and missed part of it. So, but now I think we're going to talk about what type of candidate is best for our program. And so the first thing, I'm going to kind of compare myself, as a candidate for a program, and to give you an idea. So, when I was transitioning, I was aware of the injuries that I had and the issues that I had going on. So that's really our first thing that we are looking for. We're looking for someone that is aware that they're going through some challenges or some hurdles, and and that's really the first step, is the awareness. And the second step is that you're trying to do something to move forward and overcome those challenges or hurdles. And that step can just be to reaching out to an organization like us, and trying to better yourself and become the best version of yourself. So those are really the two big ones. But also, we're looking for someone that, maybe you're really struggling and you have a lot going on, and we're gonna be able to help you with one of the major hurdles of your transition, which is your mental mindset. And so, we're looking for someone that, maybe you're going through a divorce, or maybe, you've just transitioned out of the military and you didn't want to get out, or you had an injury and you had to get out, or or as a lot of the key things that Gerard was saying, your job in the military, and now you're trying to go find a job in the civilian world, and you can't find something that matches. I was infantry. There's only like two other jobs in the in the civilian world that even match what the infantry does. And so yeah, it's a very difficult transition. But even if you're having a lot of issues or a lot of challenges in your life, we're looking for you. But also, even if you're trying to accomplish some great things in your life and you have hurdles that keep coming into your path, we're looking for you too. Because you can always become a better version of yourself, and you can go and to achieve your full potential. The course is, as Gerard mentioned, it's conducted online. It's very similar to how we're conducting it right now, and through our workshops and our modules. So you do need to have a stable internet access, and it's better to have a quiet designated area to conduct the modules and the lessons. But it only takes up 1% of your time. It doesn't take. It's not a big commitment. Uh, Time wise, it's a big commitment for your life, though, in order to be successful in your future. And also, it doesn't matter how long you've been out of the military. If you got out 2 weeks ago, or if you got out 20 years ago. What I can say with my transition, I got out in 2009, and it was really my second transition that I got into the program, and I've been out of the military for almost 10 years. And so, these lessons and these modules and the things that we're going to teach you, they're helpful no matter what stage of your transition you are in, or what stage of
Mhm.
your life that you are in. And so yeah, Gerard, was there anything else you wanted to add? I am going to put our link to my calendar. Uh,
Yeah.
yep, I just put that in the chat right here. And you can also email us, or go on our website. I'll put that in the chat as well. We have some videos for you to watch. It kind of explains the program. We also have another video that it's only about 5 or 6 minutes long, that will kind of condense this whole hour that we've been on into just a few minutes. And so you can watch that, and you can send us a note that if you want to meet with us in person, and yeah, we'll go from there. Gerard, if you have any parting
Yeah.
comments. uh,
Yeah.
I don't
Well.
have any questions from the group. We do have some nice comments, saying that the information was very helpful, and to thank us for our passion for serving veterans. and
Oh,
and yeah, so uh, personally, it's been great to
thank
be
you,
with you
guys.
this morning, and I was very happy to share my experience. And so yeah,
So if the only thing that I can add now is that we can get into a Q&A session, or if anyone is interested in joining the program, we can actually bring you in now, because we have sponsors. We have sponsors from some veteran advocacy groups that cover for a portion of the tuition. It's just a quarter for now, because we want to give the money to as many people as possible. But if you want to take advantage, it's also available now, and but it's limited. So if you are interested in joining the program, you can send a private message, and with your phone number, and to call or me, and we will give you a call, and make sure that we can have you on board in the next session. The next session is actually on Tuesday, but you can have access to the online version immediately. The tools, the folder that has all of the tools inside, because you actually have an online course, and then in the online course we refer to tools, and diagrams and things like that. It's all in an infographic book that you can actually take notes in. So we give you access to all of that, and we send you link invite to your workshop. So if you have a weekly workshop, if you join the weekly program, you will get 14 invites for meetings over the next 3 months. And if you take the monthly one, you get 3 for each monthly session. So please let us know if you're interested in the chat. You can send us a message with your name and phone number. And if you have any other questions, please also ask. We're here to answer all of the questions and to share as much as we can about the things that we do in the program.
Sure. Yeah, we don't have any questions. We just had a few comments saying that they're
Cool.
looking forward to learning more and and thanking us for the presentation. So I think we'll just
Very
stay on
welcome.
for a few more minutes to see if anybody else uh, has a question.
Has a
Otherwise,
question.
we'll be reaching out to you. And again, what I mentioned in the very beginning, especially if you're a Afghanistan veteran, you know, please reach out to us. I will talk to any Afghanistan veteran if you're having issues dealing with what's happening in the country right now. We don't even have to talk about the situation. If you want to talk about something completely different, that's fine. We're here. We're here for you. There's also several other organizations that are helping veterans, especially during this time. So we can also you know, send you information or direct you to the right organization that will help you with your needs. The Veterans Crisis Line is always available. So yeah, we just want to make
Yeah.
sure that we handle the situation for our veterans as best as possible. And again, we I know a lot of our Vietnam veterans went through this process nearly 50 years ago, and so we definitely want to be prepared and help continue to help serve our veterans. So I don't see any other comments. Or are there any other questions? So again, thank you for joining us. We'll be reaching out to you, and like I said, click on the links that you provided. If you want to book a time with us, or if you want to just check out more information, and if you're interested in the material, contact Gerard directly,
Yep.
and
You
he'll
can
help
email
you.
me.
Yep, he'll help you share that material from this webinar. And again, we'll post it on our Facebook page. And I look forward to seeing some of you in a call. And then Gerard looks forward to seeing you in the program.
Yeah. So please click on the link, book a time with Carl if you want to on board with us, or send us a message in the chat, and we will get back to you. And it's been an honor to have you here today, guys. Time is a precious asset. So I really thank you for taking the time to stay with us today. And if you want if you want us to help you in this journey, then we are here. If you want to continue on your own, it's also fine. But in our program, the progress that you would make in 20 years, we can make it in a few weeks or month, you know, and when you go through the process with us, we actually hold your hand if necessary for that particular period of time, and then when the program is completed, you have all of the tools and so it's a great experience. We love doing this, so we hope you guys are going to book a lot of time with us and have a bunch of meetings next week to join the program, or this week actually also because we just Wednesday. So thank you guys. If you have any other questions, yeah, I'll be happy to dive in, but I don't see additional questions coming through. So uh, um, I think we are ready to log off. All right.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later.
Thanks everyone. Thank you for joining.